Thank you for watching the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. So today we're talking about Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. That's how the Spanish newscasters do it, right? They speak English and then they get to something Spanish and they go, Don Ramon de la Villa de Sanchos de la Villa Real, right? So, for those of you who don't know who she is a newly elected congresswoman who came to prominence because she beat an incumbent Democrat. So that's the claim to fame. She beat the incumbent Democrat. Well, what's so special about her that people are putting her all over the news lately? Well, she is a socialist. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She's a socialist. Then people are saying, but she beat an incumbent Democrat. Okay, well, let's take a look at that just for a second. All of the socialist groups came out of the woodworks to endorse her. They are still wanting Bernie Sanders, and she is saying what Bernie Sanders said, and she was a community organizer beforehand. I've heard that qualification before. I don't know if you have. She is a full-fledged socialist. There's no ifs, ands. Okay, how does she beat him? Well, with all of the endorsement, all of the groups came behind her, funding her campaign and simply marketing. In this day and age, there is no such thing as good. There is no such thing as popular. There is no such thing as talent. There is no such thing as worth. There's only marketing. The movies that you go see, you're going to see them because of marketing. The talent shows that you see are there because of marketing. The music that you hear on the radio is there because of marketing. It is not about talent at all. Music is not about talent at all, not even close. If you check any of the super duper famous songs of the day, they have 20 people as the writers. 20 people as the writers? That literally means that there is no talent in writing songs anymore. And even if it means that somebody got credit for writing who didn't write a lick of the song, so be it. That includes the artist, by the way. Now, she talks about, I don't have my notes. I wrote everything down, I don't have my notes. She talks about, the socialist stuff. This is the Democrats moving, just pushing it as far left as they possibly can. She's talking about wealth distribution and wealth accumulation. Everything's unfair, and we must tax the rich because they must pay their fair share. 10% of the top 10% of the wealthiest people in the United States pay 70% of the taxes. For our entitlements that the government has, if you literally stole all of the top 10%, any beyond 10%, 10% goes into people who make $100,000. The top 1% are people who make $350,000 a year, $330,000 a year. That's when you hear that buzzword, top 1%. That's what they're talking about. You don't get into the millionaires until you get the 0.001%. And you don't get to billionaires until you get, the nosebleed section of the decimal places. So these buzzwords literally are talking about mostly middle-class people. And they're trying to say that the top 10%, the wealthiest people should pay their fair share. What they're literally talking about is the middle class being stolen from to supposedly pay off the middle class and the poor. Universal health care. Obamacare was passed. They said 30 million people did not have health care. Guess what? After Obamacare passed and was implemented and was in full effect, 30 million people still didn't have health care. As in fact, it went up. 40 million people in the United States did not have health care. Why? Because the bottom didn't qualify and the top lost their stuff and couldn't afford the Obamacare stuff. Why? Because they made too much money, but not enough money to pay for the Cadillac insurance now that Obamacare required of a family of that size. You have been bamboozled. So then she goes on. Then we have another YouTube channel called, what are they called? This was my big code. Anyway, I'll write their name in a note. So we have the left eating the left, and they said, how is she going to pay for it? She says, well, we need to raise taxes. I already told you, the top 10% pays 70% of all the taxes in the United States. The top 70%, the top 10%, which goes all the way down to people make $100,000 a year and up. That's middle class. $100,000 a year and up is middle class. That's middle class. So what they're trying to bamboozle you with is that middle class people need to fund poor people. But you can't do it. It's impossible. The way that they're doing, if you want to do something, you get rid of insurance. She talks about healthcare, insurance, healthcare, insurance. She'll occasionally back it up with insurance. They're not really talking about healthcare. They're talking about insurance. She wants universal healthcare. How much does universal healthcare cost in the United States? $30 trillion. Even with all of her let's completely destroy what Trump did on the tax cuts, which all of you all got a part of. All of you. You got your money raised. You got bonuses in your paycheck. She wants to destroy all of that. She wants to go back to Obama-era economics. Get rid of that tax cut. Raise taxes. Close even more loopholes. Trump closed some loopholes. Did you know that? Trump closed some loopholes in his tax cut. He didn't just cut the taxes. And it wasn't from the rich. It was from everybody. I know CNN is going to tell you it was from the rich. What qualifies as the rich? The top 10%? Actually, you probably mean the top 30%. The top 30% now goes down to like $50,000 a year. If not 40. If not 30. That's the top 30%. There are a lot more people making $20,000 a year in the entire country than there are people who make $30,000 and up. There's more people who make $20,000 a year than make $30,000 and up. And I believe the people who make $20,000 a year, if they're on a real actual schedule of working, they get a bonus too. So she wants to reduce all of that. She wants to erase all of that, go back to Obama era, and that will raise $2 trillion. Universal healthcare alone costs $30 trillion. We're not done. She wants universal education. And we're talking about college. College paid for. We're talking undergrad. We're talking master. We're talking PhDs. I don't know the figures for that, but it's probably what, $100 trillion? Something crazy, something ridiculous, right? Because once the school says this is free, then they can charge the federal government whatever they want. This is why we have Pell Grant. This is why under the Pell Grant and all this other stuff and guaranteed student loans, that college is now $40,000 a year to go to school. Are you saving up for your kids? Now, this other channel said, oh, She doesn't, I can't believe Trevor Noah is saying this stuff. All you have to do is go to the rich, and they are under the impression that rich people are rich, a la Scrooge McDuck from DuckTales. That rich people all have giant vaults, and they throw money in there, and they go swimming in their money every day. These people are so uneducated, misinformed. What's the polite way to say this? That they don't understand that rich people aren't rich because they have piles of money sitting in a bank. That would be ridiculous. Let me tell you now, that would be ridiculous. Because if anything goes wrong with that bank, if some bank robbers come in and blah, 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 your money's gone. And the FDIC only guarantees up to, what, $150,000? So if you have millions of dollars in the bank, all your money's gone. That's not how rich people are rich. Rich people are rich because they invest their money into other companies. This is how, when people talk about net worth, that's how they calculate it. He has 1 million shares in Apple. He has 200,000 shares in Google. He has that's how they calculate their wealth. And that's why the list changes. The top 10, top 100, top 500 wealthiest people in the United States, that's why their net worth changes. Why? Because the stock market goes up and down. It's not the same every year in, year out. So if anybody tells you, oh, we just need to go into that McDuck vault that they have on their estate, that's loony. That's loony. That's Looney Tunes. Literally, right? Wait, is it Looney Tunes? Warner Brothers? I don't know. Anyway, she wants, also, she wants the rich to pay their fair share. I talked about that. And what is their fair share? I already told you the top 10% pays 70% of all of the taxes. Here's a funny thing. If you took all of the wealth, you cashed out all of their shares, all the rich people's shares, cashed it all out, made it into money, and then forked it over to the federal government, it wouldn't even cover 2% of all of our, not just our debts. It wouldn't cover all of the obligations that we have. Medicare, Medicaid, WIC, food stamps, blah, blah, blah. The whole, it wouldn't cover 2%. It wouldn't cover 2% military. It wouldn't cover it. All of the salaries of all the people who work for the government wouldn't cover it, not even 2%. And we're talking all of the wealth of all of the rich people in the United States. If you took all of the money from the top 10%, we're all those people who make $100,000 a year and up. So you took all of the people who just cracked that line, $100,000 a year, they'd be extra mad. Now, this other channel is going on about Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah. Well, I was enlightened about Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah, like Whoopi Goldberg, when I first saw the very first special, I was amazed. Both of them. Amazed. It was amazing comedy, talking about real issues with comedy spliced over top of it. Amazing. Fantastic. She gets on The View, he gets on The Daily Show. They lose their mind. Just disgusting. Gross. Disgusting. Who are they for? But wait, Trevor Noah goes a step further. Now, Trevor Noah is from South Africa. Trevor Noah, I didn't know, would do comedy shows and defend the establishment. I can't tell you how gross that is. I don't know what the word is for that. That's crazy. That's Looney Tunes, right? Now, he's asking, they were upset that they were asking her how she's going to pay for it. She doesn't know how to pay. She doesn't have any numbers. She doesn't have numbers. And she doesn't know because she's a community organizer. Anyway, tell me what you think about that. Thank you all for watching. Do you agree with with a socialist being elected? This is the perfect timing for this, right? 2020 is coming up. This is the perfect timing for this. Oh, and I saw interviews with Gary Johnson, the former, is it New Mexico governor, who switched to libertarian, and he was fantastic in these interviews. Why isn't he like that when he's running for the Libertarian Party for president? It's crazy. It's like he's two different people. I think he's been set free, so then he wants to express this freedom. Thank you all for watching. Please like the video.